Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Chris, your sneaker professor, back with another prediction for 2024. And I'm going to keep doing these because I really enjoy spending time looking at each. I haven't been looking at exactly each brand, but I've been kind of looking at all of the brands, and it's given me a deeper insight into what's happening in the sneaker industry beyond what you're thinking about, possibly, which is just the shoe releases themselves. So, in this next prediction, I get into a discussion on Adidas. And what I'm looking at in particular with Adidas is the fact that they're building this amazing US strategy. And it started with, you know what? Let me dive right into it and get rolling. So, Adidas, right? They're almost done with the recovery from the YZY debacle. I really didn't want to debacle. I didn't want to jump into YZY and start discussing it because, to be honest, it does not have a lot of relevance anymore. And people put a lot of weight into YZY, and rightfully so, because Adidas really screwed up with that time frame, because they were doing some amazing work in 2014, 2015, 2016. And then when YZY took off like a rocket around 2018, 2019, all of the energy for Adidas went into YZY in the US. And I think that hurt the company. I really do. That YZY debacle was extremely problematic, for Adidas in the US. But you know what? There's not a reason to kind of rehash how the $1 billion partnership with YZY skewed how Adidas operated in America. If you want me to touch on that, I will. I'll go back. I'll do a different video and I'll look at that so I can explain in great detail how it kind of threw off the process of everything that happened for North America, for United States and Adidas. I'm also not going to bring up fear of God. Because, and it's not because fear of God is not important. They are not in the grand scheme of what Adidas is as a brand. And because that partnership has failed to kind of deliver the results of what everybody thought it was going to do. Everyone kind of thought fear of God would replace YZY. And I don't necessarily think fear of God was ever about trying to replace YZY. I don't think it was. They'll never be able to replace that kind of revenue. YZY was like a wave. I said I wasn't going to stay on that long, but I mean, let's be honest. I have to say something. But by the time more of the YZY shoes dropped before he got released from the brand, that wave had kind of reached its pinnacle, and it was kind of, becoming a little bit blase. I mean, keep it real. Even if you were trying to flip Adidas shoes, particularly Yeezys, the only things you could flip were the ones that were extremely inexpensive, the slides and maybe the knit runners. But the actual shoes themselves, they were not doing that great. So, and especially since, the production, they had increased production on that Yeezy line, and it decreased the resale value because Yeezy's success, and I guess this is important, it was never based on the love of Adidas. It was based on the love of Kanye, and it was based on the love of how much you could generate from resale. Ask yourself how many people you see walking around with Yeezys on. Not many. Even when they went into making millions of pairs, you didn't see many of them. And I did a lot of research that showed that Yeezys primarily ended up in the resale cycle. They didn't even get onto the feet of the everyday consumer or the people who possibly wanted to rock those shoes. And they were comfortable shoes. I'm not going to front. All right. So, and I've spent too much time on Yeezy. So let's get to this prediction. What's the prediction for Adidas in 2024? There's a lot of them, but I'm only going to focus on what I'm calling kind of a strategy. So they have to get a permanent replacement in the US. All right. They don't have that yet. But as they get this permanent replacement, I think Adidas, and yeah, I'm being kind of corny here. I'm going to say they're going to use a three-pronged strategy of design, marketing, sport. Design, marketing, sport. And I'm on the IG page here. You can see clearly, Anthony Edwards, the fact that the Adios, you see Noah Lyles, who's going to show up a lot in this discussion, the University of Washington, the football team, national championship. You have your soccer stuff, Adidas Terex information, the Adios, Messi arriving in Miami, Stormzy. So you got the hip hop aspect, you got David Beckham, you got your actresses with Wednesday. Adidas, this marketing aspect. And last year, they announced this 1,000 program, this 1,000 kind of media thing. And man, it was dope. And it was about the Samba and the Gazelle and the Superstar. But Adidas is doing some really good work. So this three-pronged strategy, right? That's going to help them to gain a better footing in the United States because they really don't have a strong placement in the United States. Now, here's the interesting thing, and this is what you really need to pay attention to. Each of these strategies that they're going to create will take place in this kind of compartmentalized manner. They're going to be micro strategies, right? And they're going to be shaped by niche endeavors. Things that are not quite mainstream, things that are not big and broad, because the world is becoming extremely small and compartmentalized because of digital media, right? What Adidas will do, remember, these are predictions. They'll utilize small marketing moments. Small marketing moments. You won't get this big grand thing that goes across all categories or that's really, it's going to be these small marketing moments. They'll be almost regional in most instances and in some instances. And it will connect with consumers because it'll be much more regional than it has been. If it's for the UK and for a certain section of the UK, it's for glitch. If it's for soccer, it's going to be small. And even in the United States, you're going to look at Miami kind of centered events around Lionel Messi, right? You're going to have these smaller events take place in the United States as well as around the world. And those things will coordinate with fashion and sport. And no matter how small the combination is, in these presentations, those three aspects will always be touched upon, right? And if you think about it, it's already begun. It's already begun, right? Noah Lyles. I'm going to click over here, and this is Uncovering Adidas, behind the scenes in California. So Noah Lyles is right at 100,000 subscribers. He didn't really get started on this station until about a year ago, and he started building his brand. But he's been building it in conjunction with Adidas, and you see him over here with DC, right? Don Cherry, and they're in LA.
All right, so
did I do that symbol right? But they're in LA, and he's at the Adidas showroom, right? So you have him in the Adidas showroom. He's going to be able to check out the fashion aspects. They're not even talking about sport, but with Noah Lyles being the man in 2024, that's extremely important. And if you don't know who Noah Lyles is, this is exactly what I'm saying about niche. These small compartmentalized strategies will work. And I don't even think this has gotten a ton of views. It's 3,000 views in 3 days when you compare that to like Steve Harvey and not Steve Harvey, but Cat Williams and Shannon Sharp. It doesn't compare. But these 3,000 views are true fans of the athlete. They are fans of Adidas. They are fans of sport. It's a very good strategy. Micro influencers are going to become very popular for Adidas this year. Micro influencers. So utilizing Noah Lyles as an influencer and an athlete who's into fashion, because Noah Lyles has honestly introduced the catwalk into track and field. Nobody paid attention to what track and field athletes were wearing because we didn't even see the events that much. But now, and this is going to play a commercial, you get this situation where Noah Lyles is really starting to become a lot more important person. And I just refreshed that, and I'm going to jump over here to the Atlanta City games. And there's a reason I'm going to the Atlanta City games, because this is the thing. These kind of this content consumption, right, taking place in kind of these micro dosages in these myriad of locations across the country, smaller events, smaller things that are taking place for Adidas. That will make the Adidas strategy faster. Now, why am I saying that? Last year, Adidas had this event, right? The Atlanta City Games. And it was kind of amazing. I mean, it wasn't even kind of amazing. Now, Adidas only got 67,000 views. But this is the thing. They never broke down this video. They never came in and broke down this video. So this is a part of the marketing strategy that they haven't figured out yet and they don't understand. The smaller doses are a much more effective tool. Now, this is more of a consulting thing for me to say this, for them to say, hey, you guys need to go back in. I don't care if this was last year. You need to go back in and break down these 4 hours of sport. Now, what were the Atlanta City Games? If you guys are looking over here to my side, you see this track, and it's in the middle of Centennial Park in Atlanta. Adidas brought their professional athletes, and there were people running from other brands as well. They brought their athletes into the middle of Atlanta and created an entire track and field event, recorded and displayed on their own digital channel. And this is extremely important because it's the basis of another discussion that I'm going to have on predictions this week, in particular tomorrow. So you'll be able to see that. And it'll all be connected for you if you're staying this long and listening to what I'm saying. And you're not like, Chris is rambling. I'm not rambling. I'm just trying to get to the point and make it make sense to you. But this is a 100-meter hurdle event. And Kenny Harrison, they have their athletes here. And it's pretty amazing that you could put an event in the middle of a city and it goes off without a hitch. Now, you're introducing track and field to a lot of people who probably weren't paying attention to it before, simply as a passing thing. But it's one of these things where I'm explaining that these micro kind of events, these sessions blended with fashion, showing these athletes and design and all of these different things, it just builds towards something special. So if we go back to Adidas, right, and I start thinking about Adidas and I look at before Yeezy, right, if I put it as BY, before Yeezy, Adidas had NMD. They won a Grand Prix in marketing. They had all of these amazing things taking place. Pro Fear came out. Ultra Boost was doing fantastic. Yeezy came along. Yeezy just bumped everything out of the way, and Adidas placed all of their eggs in that basket, and it backfired on them. 6 years ago, before Yeezy, they were considering opening a Speed Factory in the U.S. Now, Speed Factory would have allowed them to create concepts here quickly and get them out. And a part of Speed Factory was a project called AM4. Adidas made 4. Right? And they were making specific collections quickly in the city and then in a particular city. They did one for London, and they would release that product only in London. But like I said, as Yeezy became this kind of billion-dollar brand, Adidas stopped innovating. They stopped innovating. Speed factories fell to the side, and there was no kind of localized experience anymore. It just was gone. Everything fell to Yeezy in North America, and it was a wrap. But this is what the big prediction is. Expect the Los Angeles design team. So BY before Yeezy. Remember, Yeezy had the manufacturing thing that was going to be taking place in Wyoming. All of these people are starting to trickle to Adidas LA, Adidas Portland, and then you have aspects of Adidas in New York. But you're going to have kind of this really active design unit. And why is this important? Why if I'm sitting up here showing you Cherry over in Los Angeles with Noah Lyles in a video, you can see that they're doing a lot already with marketing. So what I think you can expect is more design out of Los Angeles, things that are being made here where people are going to be able to see some processes, small micro doses of information and design and fashion, sporting events. I expect the Portland team to recapture the essence of marketing, and that already began under Rupert Campbell's short stint. And like I said, when I go back over here and I go up to these short videos from Adidas, on Samba, these videos were amazing. You can expect those things to start taking place, and it's going to be utilized in combination with positive sports moments. And this is an Olympic year. And those sports moments are going to take place within track and field, of course. They're going to take place within basketball. As I'll close this, and I'm going to scroll back up, and the second person in their list is who? The new jump man, the guy that feels more like Jordan than anybody I've seen in sneakers lately. Than anybody. Anthony Edwards. So you're going to see a lot of this fantastic marketing and these moments take place. Anthony Edwards, Noah Lyles, these guys are just the beginning. I think Adidas is about to get active and they're going to rise. So this is going to be an interesting year as Nike makes serious adjustments. Adidas once again has a chance to take advantage of that. Now, will they do that? This is a prediction. I have no idea. I hope you appreciated this video. I will see you guys on the next one, and that one will have a lot to do with this, but it's going to be about Nike. See you guys. Peace.